Hey there, I am D. What can I say about today's episode? Well, first of all, how do I put this? When I heard that this episode was going to be entitled Asylum of the Daleks, I guess I sort of expected it to be something like Batman Arkham Asylum, or Arkham City, whichever one you like best. And as such, well, now Daleks in and of themselves are already insane, or depending on which point of view, I mean, from a Nazi's perspective, the Daleks may actually be the good guys. But so a Dalek, which many of us would already consider insane, but then Daleks, which even to Daleks standards are insane. Well, there are a lot of ways in which a lot of different directions this episode could have taken. So yeah, my expectations were lifted up. Even more so when I heard that this episode would contain every single Dalek ever, including the one with the huge cannon from the old show serial Remembrance of the Daleks. And then when the episode actually started, I mean, it seems like that the Daleks could suddenly take human forms on the one hand, and Amy and Rory, surprisingly, have filed for divorce. So yeah, the episode gave you a lot to look forward to from the start. But the payoff was just disappointing. And okay, the subplot the whole thing between Amy and Rory, I guess was kind of alright, but that's it. Okay, I also like the fact that, well, during the Russell T Davies era, there was this whole thing about Daleks trying to convert humans into Daleks, and in this episode apparently they've perfected it. So yeah, I guess I kinda like that as well. But... and also, an asylum for Daleks, well... so Daleks that even to a Dalek standards are insane, well, has a lot of potential. But half the time the Daleks were idle and weren't really doing much. So, on top of that, there's also this whole thing about a girl who's somehow stuck on that planet and is trying to help the Doctor, but, well, I'm not gonna spoil anything, but whatever the truth was behind that girl, personally I saw it coming. Partly maybe because the episode reminded me of, what was it called again? Planet of the Dead. An earlier episode of Doctor Who, again, from the Russell T Davies era, but written by Stephen Moffat, the same guy who wrote today's episode. As a certain film director had once said about himself, but anyway, I think Moffat is turning into an ecological artist himself because he keeps recycling his own stories. So yeah, altogether, I think today's episode was disappointing. Not to mention the many plot holes I spotted. I mean, there are also a few plot holes I spotted. I mean, okay, I think I sort of understood why they needed the Doctor, but why did they abduct Amy and Rory? I mean, yes, it was mentioned that the Doctor always has companions. But still, why those two specifically? Why didn't they just pick a few at random? I mean, how many times have the Daleks actually seen the Doctor along with Amy, or Rory for that matter? So they couldn't possibly know he has them as his current companions. And even if they did, well, how do they know they split up and where to find the other two? There were a whole bunch of things about this that didn't make a whole lot of sense. Well, I suppose for the show's sake... Either it was mentioned and I somehow missed it, or hopefully it'll be explained in later episodes. Much like that there are a whole bunch of things that have to be explained from the whole Stephen Moffat run. Okay, I'll be big about it and I'll just wait it out. This was D. I'm signing off.